Hello, hello, hello. If anybody can hear me, please put something in the box to let me know what's going on. Man, it's time to get rolling today. How did I go from 4 to 1? Something's up with this, something's up with this YouTube, man. Something's up. But you want to know what? It's all about Jesus. It's all about Jesus, and every day something opens up for me, like some new thought about what he's done for us, and another thought about how to think about this life. Um it's hard because we're taught from like young people that this is a place to build a life, and hey Faith, it's like a place to build a life and have a family and have a life, that kind of thing, job and friends and all that, right? But in reality, right, this is a fallen world, right? A fallen place, that it's just a temporary stop. We should be like Ezra, right? Like out in the poppy fields, eating flowers and meditating and waiting for God to tell us what's up. It's insane, like just how different the world really is in reality from what we think it is growing up in it. And the urge is to be attached. I mean, there was people actually saying that they would be bored in heaven, that heaven would be boring somehow. And I can't, like, where else would you want to go? Like, I mean, like where, like, there's like, out of the places to go, where do you want to go? Even if it was boring, right? Like, what are you talking about? It can't be worse than this, right? Hey Jake, how you doing, buddy? Hey Sheila, so good to see you. Faith again. But yeah, it's hey Clutch, what's going on, my man? And so it's like, man, well, like, where do people want to go, man? If they're gonna be bored in heaven, and I mean, sure, I was thinking about putting together another show, a different format of like, just going through memes about just like daily craziness, almost how uncool does like Clown World, but faster paced in the morning, and like maybe Faith could host it or something. And she would be good for that. I was thinking that she'd be good for that. But like I'm trying to think, and then like of course Jake and Stephanie have their show, and that's great too. And just throw it all in the rotation. And yeah, I mean, streets paved with gold. I mean, yeah, I mean, life water. These trees where like the fruit is amazing and the smells are amazing, and every feeling we have will be appropriate because there won't be any fallen nature to us. We won't ever have the urge or the inclination to do wrong. We will only want to do the right thing, like, because if you live in an incorruptible world, right, then you're in a world where right and wrong is defined by God, and we would be in total agreement with that. It would be impossible to not be in agreement with it, and if we did transgress it, it would be an innocent thing. It's kind of like how, like, well, I hate to equate it like this, but it's like how animals are, like, animals don't know they're doing anything wrong when they go past the line. And so I'm looking forward to getting the heck out of here. There's nothing about this place that I want to hang on to, and it's not about giving up. It's not about being doom and gloom. It's not about it, but it's reality. Like, we're supposed to be here to, spread the gospel and get as many people to God for salvation as possible. And that's what we're supposed to do. I mean, look at the apostles, right? In Acts. I've been studying Acts lately. I mean, they're going to jail and dying and all this for this. They're dying to spread the news, right? And that's how we should be. I don't know how we got all mixed up where we thought that this was some kind of place to build communities and all this other stuff. I mean, I get it, right? I get it, because what else are you going to do? And I know that it bothers some people to hear that, like, forget, like, when I say forget about this place, as if it doesn't matter. Or if it doesn't matter if we lose the world, or just let it go because it's prophecy. Well, that's not how I'm thinking either. I'm thinking we do our best, in our space. But this idea of group thinking, right, is over, right? Where we have beliefs in a group. Forget it. That'll never be true. Unless it's the absolute truth, You can't say, oh, I think we should all have the freedom to do X, right? Because you can only fight for your own personal freedom to do it in the moment you want to do it. Like, there is no such thing as freedom to do something forever. Like that whole, I don't know how we got caught into that premise, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, how did we get caught up in that premise? Like, okay, well, I think that we should have the right to do, XYZ. And then think that that's somehow, like, once you get it, it's like forever, that we even have to get it from the people that we're getting it from. I need to go to City Hall to fight for my rights. I already have them. They got to come get me to get me not to do it. It's backwards. This world is backwards. Protesting on the streets for what? We can already do what we want. They're the ones that got to stop us, not us fight for our stuff back. It's so backwards. Does anybody else agree with me? Does anybody else want to talk about that? Come up here and talk about this? Because I would love to have a conversation about this, about all this group think that we're having, and how it relates to what we're supposed to be doing with Jesus, Jesus wants us to keep forgiving and forgiving and forgiving, right? And even when it hurts us, embarrasses us, we look like fools, letting people walk all over us. Well, because the reason we're doing that is because this, just being created in this little blip in time, is a blessing. And the fact that it's fallen and we get to move on is good news. And so if we look at it from the truth, then it's understandable to go contrary to, like, what people would say, psychology would say, love yourself and don't let people walk all over you, set your boundaries, all this kind of stuff, right? When Jesus is saying, oh yeah, turn the other cheek, it's all good, love your neighbor and forgive people over and over and over again. And so I mean, everything's going to be, it's going to be contrary. And then you have all these religions, right, where it looks like everything's syncing up, right? I think even this guy, I forget his name, he's a flat earther. Who's a flat earther that's he's like full of demons, man? I can't remember his name now. He's an Italian guy, but he's like from Australia. Oh man, he's a famous flat earther too. He's like Dubé, man, but he's not as smart as Dubé. Oh, Santos Bonacci, Santos Bonacci, man. He's got this academy, dude, called Syncretism, right? And it's like all these astrological, you know, yeah, it's all backwards, right? All this astrological stuff, and it's like all lined up, and it's like all, it looks like everything leads to this Antichrist. Everyone thinks there's going to be a great revival, but it's going to be a great falling away, because people are going to fall for this fake kingdom. And they could think that this thing in Russia, I mean, as staged as it is, right? But they can think that this thing in Russia means nothing. But when it either if they connect with Iran, which would be Persia. I mean, that's pretty exact in prophecy, right? And if it leaks over to a war in Israel, I mean, we're out of here. We are gone. If there's a war in Israel, we're out of here. And see, I not only believe in a rapture. I mean, I'm like 99% sure that it will happen, because I think that the day of the Lord, right? Because okay, so when we're changed in the blink of an eye, right? Jesus doesn't even touch the ground; he just comes in the clouds. And the day of the Lord, he comes down with wrath. I mean, it's unmistakable. It's two different events. And then you'd have to explain, I guess Revelation chapter 4, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians. I mean, and then you have to explain the restrainer, what the restrainer is. Because I think the restrainer is, and I think Brenda's even wrong about this, even though she knows probably more about Revelation than I'll ever know. But I think that the restrainer is the fact that we have the Holy Spirit inside of us. And if God were to rapture us, right, the church saints that have the Holy Spirit, and you leave the world down here with nobody with the Holy Spirit except for 144,000, it's going to be harsh. Oh yeah, Jesus is. I mean, this place is going to get baptized in fire. I mean, if people are not on the right side of God at this moment, if it was me, right, and I wasn't saved, I would be on my knees confessing God right now. I would be like, Jesus, you're the Lord of my life. Please help me do right. I want to call you by the right name. I want to read the right books. I want to, I don't know what to believe. I mean, I would be like in total submission, in total trust in God's understanding of the Bible, especially if I was like a layman, right? And brand new. And yeah, he's coming on a horse. Oh yeah, and with a sword coming out of his mouth. I mean, nothing was created except for it. I mean, everything here is for him. He has all power. He is the word. Like he could speak anything he wants, and it's done. And like they said, blood up to the bridle of the horse. I mean, that's a bloody scene, right? Like they don't mince words when they're talking about like these wars and these harvests and what's going to happen to what's going to happen to people, especially and then like and like I understand what Teresa was saying about like if because we're not appointed to being in the lake of fire, to maybe not even seeing it, but I tend to think that it'll be there and we will see it, because I think the whole idea is that sin has a price, right? And we saw that Jesus had to go through what he went through to pay for all sin, right? I think we're going to see people. I mean, I don't know, because I mean, she might be right, but I think we're going to see people get put in that lake. And then I think that at the very end, right, of the millennium, when the death, hell, and the grave, right, and the earth, everything goes in that lake of fire, and then we go off to eternity, right? We go off to heaven to be with each other, and to be with our family and friends and everybody that made it. I think everybody that wants to make it will make it. I mean, I really believe it's that simple. I mean, I really believe that the people that aren't going to make it are just people that cannot assimilate to God being the boss. Because that's like, it's easy to say, oh, okay, I want to be saved, I don't want to be burned up, right? Of course, right? I think um where people are going to have the problem is what, once you are saved, then God is in charge of you. Like, that's the other half of it. We're it's his world. We're going to go. And if you want to make him happy, if your full desire is to make God happy, then it's going to be wondrous, right? It's going to be glorious, right? But if you are a person that likes control, even of your own destiny, right? Can just, if you think you have all this influence and control on your own world, then it's going to be hard. I mean, not only just like a narcissist would have problems, but anybody that is self-centered would have a problem. I don't know, because I'm sure that would be taken out of us, because we would be made incorruptible, right? Like all of that will be taken out of us anyway. But it baffles me to think that there's a lot of people that won't go, because I don't see why not. Like, I don't see why anybody would turn it down. Like, what is going on, man? How can anybody see the world and turn it down? That's right. The sheep does recognize the need for a shepherd. Man, the sheep would be lost without a shepherd. A beast just goes on its own. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you can even view it as like a wild, like a dog even needs a pack, right? Like, oh man, it's just, you'd have to be like a lion to be an animal that just go. Even they go in prides, right? I can't think of an animal that just goes off on its own, but that's what you would be. Well, there are animals like dogs, right, that stay in packs, right? Like, kind of like how the people that are deceived stay in like the majority, like in the middle of the herd or whatever. But without a leader, right? It's more of like an animal leader, a worldly leader. We're looking for a shepherd, something from outside of our species, right? We're looking for something more powerful, something to lead us, that we all agree on. And we'll hear his voice and recognize his voice. I love that. I love how, because Stephanie was right about that. Like, how like people use sheep as like a negative word, right? But we are God's sheep. We are his sheep, and that is important. That's how I mean, we're his children and we're his sheep. And I think it's good to be, I want to be one of the sheeps. But yeah, I was watching Jake the Ahole. I don't know if you guys watch him, man. It's really Jake the Asshole, but I used to watch him a long time ago because he was a flat earther, one of the first flat earthers. But he went to like some kind of like store out here in California where he got sheep's milk, and like he did like a taste test of sheep's milk, and he said it tasted just like goat's milk, which I don't know what goat's milk tastes like either. I never had a goat's milk or sheep's milk. I've only had cow's milk and that almond milk or whatever. And my kids are allergic to milk, so they had to drink that whatever that crap is that tastes like crap. I can't remember what it is. I can't remember what it's called, but it tastes like crap. But they love it. That's the thing. They drink they drink this milk, right? It's horrible. But but they love it. And I don't know what's in it, man. Something to make you think it's an acquired taste. I forget what it's called now, man. Everybody, it's like a name brand for people that can't drink milk, and it's expensive as hell. I can't remember what it's called. It's gonna bother me now. It really is gonna bug me. Where did everybody go? Did people just pop in and then take off? No, it's not soy milk, Deb. It's something else. Hey, Deb, welcome. No, it's something else. It's called. Why is it like on the tip of my tongue? I bought so much of it. It's like $5 a gallon. I mean, for like a half a gallon. I can't think of it. But yeah, I can't think of it. But it's horrific tasting. But they love it. They won't drink anything else but this stuff. It comes in like a red or a blue. Well, of course, all milk does, right? All milk comes in that red or blue packaging. Oh, I wish I knew what it was. Let me text my kid to see if yeah, it is lactose free. It is lactose free, but I'm gonna ask Will what kind of milk he drank. Kind of milk did you drink? See if he answers me at this hour in the morning. I can't remember. What, you guys probably already have it. Yeah, it's that lactose stuff, man. I can't remember what it's called, man. But they won't drink nothing else but that. Like, I mean, even though they have to, right? I mean, it's like they love the taste of it. And it is the worst tasting stuff ever, in my opinion. I think regular milk is really not even that good, to be honest, but it's way better than this crap that they gotta drink. But it's expensive though. It's like double the price of regular milk, at least. And my oldest, he used to have like he was addicted to like he's like me. He could eat the same food over and over again, and he was addicted to like mandarin oranges every day. He would eat so many mandarin oranges. It was crazy, man. I almost felt bad, like I was hurting him with the oranges because of how many he was eating. It was like a whole big can of oranges, and he would eat them, one little orange at a time, because they're really small little oranges, and he has little baby hands. But he would eat like multiple cans, like of he wouldn't stop eating them. And then we'd watch PB&J Otter, PB&J Otter on I forget what it is, Nickelodeon or something like that. I don't know, it's like these otters that they're in a family, and we're like all good at sharing stuff and being nice to their friends, right? Nothing like real life where people brawl. So yeah, man, it's just I think so back to what we were talking about, right? Like I think um the Bible, right, really teaches us to kind of be contrary to what, like, I would say psychiatry would say, to how to treat yourself, how to treat other people. It's very hard to tolerate other people, right? Because in our minds we think they're worse than they really are. And then not only that, on top of that, but it's like, come on, I keep going out of my way for to I keep going out of my way to tolerate somebody, and it gets harder and harder and harder, right? And you feel like there's a right, you feel like there's like a point where you can't do it anymore, right? But the truth is that, I mean, there's a reason why God wants us to forgive 70 times 7. There's a reason for that. And it's because we gotta let people have their fit. We gotta let that bubble pop, and we gotta be there for that person, because like in my experience, right, we're able to keep friendships. It's like when we would normally take off, or leave a situation, or cut a person off, like if we push through that, those people actually become good friends, because like 9 times out of 10 it's a misunderstanding. Yeah, you're right. You give somebody a chance and you almost feel like you get burned every time, right? Even when you give somebody every opportunity not to burn you, right? You set them up perfectly, where you're like, okay, if you don't want to do it, just do this, or talk to me and I'll give you all the resources you need. But they still screw you over. I get it, right? Well, yeah, you could say there's some bad people out there, Mike, Daniel, but it's mostly like there's people that do bad things, right? And they're stuck in this pattern of doing bad things. They can't stop doing it. Oh yeah, of course it would be harder for somebody that doesn't communicate a lot or communicate well, because you have less chances to get it right. If you talk a lot, you have more chances to smooth it out. But if you keep, because most of the time there's something broken in the thinking, right? Where they go by the same pattern that they have always done. They always get mad like they always do. There's always somebody in their sights all the time. And then when they get past it, they're like, oh, that person was never really that bad, right? And so I know it sucks, right? But in a world where we're trying to get people from here to the next level, right? We are sacrificing this part of our life, right? We're sacrificing our happiness right now. And Jesus knew it, right? Because every time that he would be on a hill speaking the truth, everyone would go crazy. And then he'd have to explain it to people, hey, look, this is what's going on. Like, it's almost like, think about when he was explaining like how people were showing up to like the vineyard to work. Some people got saved in the morning, right? So if you equate it to being saved, some people get saved in the morning, some people get picked up in the afternoon, that's when they get saved. Sometimes some people, they don't until like the last hour, right? Everyone got paid the same, right? Well, everyone goes to heaven, same spot, right? Like everyone, like you expect, like you think you're expecting to get more, but you're not. And part of being here early is that you got to bear the burden of the day, right? We got to we got to suffer through the heat of the day, through the hard work, right? So that's right. That's right. And so like, but like, to have a successful life, you might have to cut those people off. But to push through and help people get salvation, it's going to be harder because you're really giving up some of your best life now, like how they talk about with like Joel Osteen and all those false pastors, right? It's like you're giving up some of that happiness that, you know, maybe you feel like you deserve it, or you're tired of being burned, but I think that there might be a reward for that. I think that for being that type of person that gets burned and can get right back up and not let it affect you, and then still help that same person, because I've been able to do that. And I'm going to tell you what, at first it felt like I was letting people walk all over me, and I did feel like a little bit punked out, like nobody's respecting me, you know? That's how I felt. And I felt like everyone saw people disrespecting me. But now I think people see that it doesn't bother me. And I think that's a level of cool. You know what I mean? Like it's hard for me to say that about myself, but like, instead of looking like a sucker, right? Like letting somebody take advantage of me, I think people know that it doesn't bother me, that I'm being tolerant. I think people know that that's strength now. And so if we let it happen once or twice, right, it feels like we're being punked out in front of people, and it's embarrassing. But if to to do it over and over again, it makes you I think it sharpens you up, right? Because now you're really treating everyone kind of like they're spiritually not really that mature, right? You're like, yeah, one more shift yet, wondering if we hear the trumpets from the four corners. Hey, look, I can't wait. I can't wait till any kind of trumpet or rapture or anything starts. I'm ready for any of it, you know. The only thing I don't want is I don't want for people to be hurt or suffer, right? But I mean, I know that will happen, you know. The thing that has changed for me in the last 5 years when I read the Bible is I don't really see hell and wrath that much in it like I used to. It used to stick out to me. And now it's like my spirit knows somehow that I'm not appointed to wrath, so I just don't see it. And I don't think about like what it really is or how to, like, that's the thing I know the least about. And I don't, like, Jake, I don't know if you're still in here. I know that you study a lot. Is hell one of the things you know the least about? Because that's how I am, right? And I have no idea. I have no idea why that is. Why I don't study it more. I know it feels right. I know it feels right in my spirit, but I don't know what's really true. I just know it will be fair. And so that's all I know about that. Yeah, men of old, men of renown. I mean, but obviously that means something now, Michigander, because we know that there is no famous person that's not sold out. There's no famous person that's not part of their family, you know? So obviously all the people that are well known and men of renown and all that is it's obvious to me. It's obvious that they run the world, right? And that they have for a long time. I don't think that I don't think there was ever a time that they weren't in control, you know? And you know how, like, you know how we hear all those stories about, like, oh yeah, back in like the Shakespeare days, right? Like the men played women parts and all that. And you know, we're told because it's like a patriarchal society, and that only men can have roles in plays or whatever. But like, I think they did that transgender stuff, but even back then, you know. And this is the crazy part, right? Is I feel bad for the like, I mean, like, I would treat people like with respect or whatever if they came out and told me what was going on with them and how it happened and all, like, just to know more about that, how it happens and what they're allowed to do, like how, like, if they can be saved, like, and like like what they need to do, if it's the same thing, or like what's this secret that they got to keep, right? Like is it how are they bound to keep this secret? That's the crazy part about it, is because like how quiet people are about it. But you can tell, right? Like, if once you know like the skeletal structure of like a man and a woman, like it's easy to tell after a while. I mean, of course, I wouldn't just look at someone and say, okay, that's a man or whatever, you know. Even though I probably know right away, it's just you still got to go through. Yeah, I just would like to know. Um, Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's like I just want to know what I can do, right? To help as many people as possible. And if that's part of the plan, right? Then I just want to know about it, right? Because why like if somebody is, let's say somebody is in an occultic family, they are a reverso, right? And they're here, they think they're mocking everything, right? What better thing than to flip them around and like for them to come to God, right? And get saved, like for real. Because that's what this is about, right? Like it's, I mean, even people that are opposed to us right now, can you imagine if they were to break free of that and go to God for salvation? There would be such a party in heaven, you know. They would rejoice in heaven over that. I mean, Jesus died for all the sins of the world. I mean, all of them. Even if you are, even if you're intentionally low down and dirty, you know. Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying, Faith. I mean, yeah, I guess it's funny in some sense, right? But there are some that you really do sympathize with. Because you know the difference between someone that's really sold out and they're just narcissistic and all they care about is their fame and how, like people like Alec Baldwin or somebody ridiculous like that, that's just so narcissistic that he's like on like Instagram, like has fans on Instagram and like he just, works that crowd. Like who's a fan of one actor? Like, I mean, that's, to me, that's kind of crazy, man. Like someone just comes in and be like, yeah, man, I'm like an Ashton Kutcher fan. I always hang out at his Instagram and I just hang out there and wait for him to come on and go live. Like I couldn't imagine that, man. Like or was it Chrissy Teigen or somebody? I mean, okay, so I get like a singer, maybe. Okay, maybe you're a Britney fan, or you like Madonna or something like that. I've seen people go crazy like that over a band, but can you, it's like one actor, like you're like, yeah, I'm a Jake Gyllenhaal fan. I just hang out, I just hang out over there, and it's all good. All right, let me read this verse. I'm so sorry, guys. Deuteronomy 22:5, King James Version. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are an abomination unto the Lord thy God. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that's really how it's supposed to be. But I mean, clearly, yeah, Chrissy Teigen is disgusting. Yes, you're right about that. But you can tell, right? Like in her spirit, like I even have sympathy for her. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have empathy for all these people, but she's one of those ones that's like just wants attention so bad. And didn't she just go through like a fake pregnancy, like with the baby bump and all that, and got all this sympathy and all that, all this attention for being pregnant, and none of that's real. None of that's real, and it's kind of sad, right? Like, I mean, it's sad when you like you're Beyonce and you got to show up to some like you got to show up to some talk show with a baby bump, I mean, that's crazy, isn't it? That's right. Love fulfills the whole law. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, none of us are going to be perfect. None of us. None of us are even going to be perfect at one task. It's not possible, right? No, how could she eat her placenta when she can't have a baby? She's a man. She's a man, Faith. The chances of her being a female are not good. Yeah, there's no placenta unless I don't know, unless her man, what's his name? Sexiest man on earth, unless he's a woman. I don't know. I didn't look at him. But I know there are people that give birth, like I know that Vin Diesel, he gave birth to a couple of them. And so did what's that chef on the one that yells a lot on Hell's Kitchen? He gave birth to a couple people. The kid on the Kardashians, the boy, he's given birth to a bunch of them. Yeah, they're like birthing. They birth for the people, and then they get their little fame or whatever. Hulk Hogan is another one. Mike Tyson. Yeah, I have empathy for them for sure. Gordon Ramsay. Yeah, he's one of those ones that's given a birth to a lot of them. And if you see him like in like a swimming pool with like his stomach, it is so messed up, man. I've never seen oh yeah, Cold Springs, absolutely. Like I would say 90% of the actresses that you've seen in Hollywood are men. Like 90%. And everything you've seen on the news is a lie. Everything you learned in history is a lie. All the theoretical science that you've learned in your life is a lie. There's absolutely nothing true about this world, and it's all reverse. Yeah, you can tell he had his boob. Yeah, but see, sometimes they don't even have boobs, right? Because they put them on testosterone like right when they start, but they always have like when they get their like nipples done or whatever, they're always off, way off. Like one's crooked. You know what I mean? So he probably has one of those where it looks like a lazy eye. And it's like one's way off, It's pretty sick, man. Yeah, and it's like his stomach is cut open from having. That's why I didn't believe that thing with who's the guy that's in Hollywood that got blamed for sexually harassing people. Can't remember his name. But like Harvey Weinstein, right? Yeah, that's not a man. That's not a man. I mean, he may be nasty or whatever, but he's not assaulting people in that kind of way. That's a made up story to make him more manly. They worship him out there. Like I know that Meryl Streep called him God. That's pretty sad, man. Weinstein, yeah. And just because he didn't abuse anybody in real life doesn't mean that he's not horrific, like a horrific dude. I'm not saying that he's not gross. He probably is. And he probably is gross to those women. But like he doesn't have the physical parts, right, to do that kind of stuff. I know it's hard to believe, Shannon. I get it. I know, right? And you're gonna have to push through that to believe it because it's true. We like we've pushed through it and it's hard, but once you get on the other side, you'll know for sure, right? You'll be like, oh, how did I ever believe that? You know, what's her name? What's the actress that did Speed, man? Sandra Bullock. You're going to be like, how did I ever think Sandra Bullock was a female? You know, even though right now you're thinking she's not a bad looking female, but when you're on the other side and you push through, right? You'll know like, oh, how did I ever think that this was a woman? Yeah, Oprah Winfrey for sure. In fact, I know somebody, right, that has been near Oprah Winfrey, like just in the same premise as her, like in the same, in the same house, same room, and gotten sick, like physically sick from just the spiritual depravity coming from that woman or man or whatever. Probably a man. And she got so sick for like a week. She's like that. She put a curse on me or something. She was like really messed up from it. And this is a friend that I know is telling me the truth, you know? Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 18. For in much wisdom is grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. Yeah, because knowing the truth, right? You're opened up to all that stuff, you know? Yeah, and see some of like the athletes are even women too, right? But like some are men, right? Like some are oh yeah, like Hoda and all them, that's a man, you know? And yeah, and so who's that other one, man? Like oh yeah, Jennifer Aniston. I mean Tom Brady's a female. Did you know that? Did you know Tom Brady's a female? Once you see the transvestigation, there's going to be no doubt. I mean, he totally acts like a girl, and his wife is a man. That's the crazy part, is because you're thinking, no, man, these are not bad looking people, right? You're like, but you're thinking that they're more feminine and more masculine than they really are. And go look at an old picture of Madonna and think, man, when you look at her, and then go, man, how did I not know this was a tranny? Hey, but that's what I mean. Come on, Faith. Let's be real, right? Look, I know this is hard, right? Like when I first found out about this one, right? I was like, oh, please don't let this be true. I wanted the clones to be true, but the clones ended up not being true. And then when I was like, oh, this is real, man. I didn't even want to open my mouth to tell nobody else, man. And then you find out it's not just the famous people, right? There's people like low level YouTube people, man. Low level people. Their parents are Masons or something like that. And I feel bad for these ones that they're just trying to be who they are. And what do, man? They didn't get no fame out of it or nothing, man. You need to be with God, man. That's the only way. Yeah, then we get called crazy when we expose them, right, Ann? Right? Like we're the ones that, yeah, vengeance belongs to the Lord, but like here's the thing, right? Do we even want vengeance, right? Or do we want to like help them over the hump, you know? Like do we want to get them to God, right? To to make it before this rapture. I mean, look, everybody that doesn't accept Christ is going to end up on the wrong side of this, right? But if we can be as forgiving as we possibly can, That's how we need to be right now, is so forgiving and so nice to people, and really just like overwhelm somebody with just how tolerant we are. And I know it's hard to keep tolerating it. I know it's hard to keep tolerating it. And I know sometimes people are freaking out when it's not real in their head. It's like it's fake in their head, but they're freaking out. We just got to show more love to somebody, give them more patience. Especially if they're like one of us, you know? Because, you know, like it or not, here we are. This is our group, man. I mean, this is what we have. Unless there's some other better group that you're going to be part of, this is where it's at. And we got to take care of each other, guys. I mean, this is it. You know, I'm just a dude that's just chilling here on my couch, man. At the end of the world, man, barely making it. I need you guys, man. I'm under no delusion that I'm just going to go do better, you know? I'm going to be here with people that know the truth, right? You got a better group to join. No, but Clutch, I mean, this is what I'm saying, right? Is that we're here for each other, is what I'm saying, right? Not that, not it's not a challenge. Oh, okay. I was gonna say it's not a challenge, right? It's like it's just like this is what we got, right? This is what God gave us. And yeah, okay, look, you know, whatever. Maybe we assimilate somewhere else, but I think we're running out of time. I know, huh? Clutch is just off the hook, man. Oh, I'll just join some better group. Why don't you take us with you, man? Like, come on, man. I want to go to this better group. I'll leave a super chat. All right, guys. Well, guess what time it is? It's time to hit the old dirty snail. Dusty trail. Praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace. All glory to God because he deserves it. And please, no nerds allowed. And please pray for the children and anybody being victimized out there. Oh, I'm so glad, and that's what makes me feel good. You know, is that this is therapy for you, because it is for me too, and it helps me refresh. You know, reset, so I can go about my day. But yeah, I hope you guys get the same thing out of it. But yeah, I love you guys. The old bumpy toad. That's crazy. All right, guys. Well, I love you guys. God bless you. And I'll see you today at 5 p.m. sharp, California time.